An old idea states that there are always two stories going on in life. One is the great drama of the manifest world, and the other is the story of the individual human soul trying to make its way in that world. And there are times when the big story is about collapse or the world going through a radical transformation, and then the pressure of that falls on each person and falls into the individual story of each soul. And we're living through one of those times. And so at such a time, you have what some people used to call a changing of the gods, or you can look at it as a shift in the archetypes that are informing life on both levels, the level of the world and the level of the human soul. And so we're in that time, I think. And one way that I see it is, first of all, we have the archetype of apocalypse. The Greeks called it apocalypsis. And what it really means is collapse and renewal. Collapsing of things and the renewal of things kind of intermixed. And then and that opens up a second archetype, which you could call the archetype of creation or the archetype of the creator. And what's going on there is you have chaos, which precedes and follows creation. So there's chaos following the kind of collapse of the world we used to know, and that's also the chaos that precedes the creation of the next world. So that's a second archetype. And then I want to add a third archetype now, and that's the archetype of the wounded healer. And so the new live series that we're doing, I entitled it Wounded Healers in a Broken World, because I think that's who we are now, that we all have this relationship or potential connection to the inner archetype of the wounded healer, and we are being pushed to find it by the pressure of the world collapsing around us. And so the good news about this is there's an archetypal energy that we can tap into. It has tremendous vitality, but it also has in it knowledge, wisdom actually, and this potential for learning how to heal. And because we as humans are in both stories, our personal story and the great drama of the world, we have to heal at the personal level in order to be able to help the larger world level of the drama. I hope that makes sense, because this is critical. Humans are each very small compared to the cosmos and what we call the world, and yet the soul of a human is a very big thing. And it turns out that change moves from the individual soul into the collective and from there into the world. So if we're going to change and if we're going to heal and transform the world, it has to begin with healing our own souls and the wounds in our souls. There's a way in which the wounds and the conflicts in the outer world are reflected in our own inner world. Not just the pressure coming from those wounds, but the fact that each human being is wounded to begin with. That's another old story. Each soul is wounded and each soul is gifted, and sometimes we have to get down to the wound in order to find the gifts again. And part of the gifts or the potential gifts inside each person includes a capacity for healing. And so then the old idea, and I'm following that in the new series, the old idea is the gifts are hidden within or behind the wound, and what we have to do now is face our own woundedness, even embrace our own woundedness in order to find healing of our own selves. And then as wounded healers, we can begin to imagine and learn how to bring healing and unity and peace and harmony back to the world around us. So the wounded healer archetype shows us how only those who become aware of how they are wounded can become aware of how to bring healing to a broken world.